Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small with CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today I want to talk to you about 5 reasons you might want to have a revocable living trust and why you might not need a trust. So that we'll sort of work these in as we go through this little video. So before I get to that though, I want to remind you, if you have questions from what you're seeing here, if you have general estate planning or probate questions, if you need help, please go to estatemeeting.com. You can set up a time to talk with us over the phone or in person for free, estatemeeting.com. Okay, so today's video actually came as a result of a potential client meeting that I had yesterday. Somebody called up, and typically when you set a meeting, you answer some questions. So I have a little bit of information about you, and then we just talk about what's going on with you. And so I got sort of the information from the calendar setting. I got some additional information, and then I said, so, what are you looking to do? What would you like to do? And she said, I need a trust. I said, okay, well, what are you trying to do? Why do you think you need a trust? And she said, well, I just heard that a trust is good, that you need a trust, and all these kinds of things. And it made me think, hey, let's talk about why you actually might need a trust. Let's do that, okay? So I said I was going to come up with 5 ideas or 5 reasons why you need a revocable living trust. I'm not sure what those all are yet. I'm going to just go off the top of my head and see what happens, okay? So the first reason why you might want to have a revocable living trust is to avoid probate. However, not everyone needs a revocable living trust to avoid probate, okay? Now, let me explain this real quick. If you have real estate in different states, you probably will want to have a trust to avoid probate, okay? If you have businesses, LLCs, partnerships, things like that, you will probably want to have a trust. The reason is you can put your property into the trust, you can put your business interests into the trust, and then you don't need probate to change the ownership interest in those things after you die, okay? If you live in Washington State, however, and you only have property in Washington State, and you only want to give your property to like 1 or 2 people, and before you do this, I would talk to someone to make sure that you're not missing some sort of unforeseen consequences. You don't need to have a trust to transfer your property to your people, okay? The reason for that is there is an instrument in Washington called transfer on death deed. Okay, and what that basically is something you file with the county. It says, when I die, I want my property to go to these people. When you die, they file a death certificate, and bam, it happens. Don't need probate. Okay, so you may need probate or you may need a trust for that, but you may not, depending on your situation. Number 2, if you have people in your life that you want to give something to, and you don't want them to have access to all of the assets right away, or you want some additional oversight and management of those assets, then you will likely want to have a trust. The classic example here is if you have kids that are young or kids that are old, and you just don't want them to get a big fat check when you die. You can create a trust. You can put parameters in the trust that say, distributions should be made at the discretion of the trustee for health, support, education, maintenance. You can say they get access to 1/3 of the assets when they turn 25, 1/3 when they turn 30, 1/3 when they turn 35. I've had people say they get access when they turn 70. You can have access that's never granted just outright to the assets if you want. You can basically write the rules that you want, but a trust is going to be able to provide that additional oversight and management. A will can't do that. A will only directs distributions. So if everything goes to your kids equally in a will, when you die, they get it. If they're under 18, it will be held for them. When they turn 18, they get it. Okay, that makes sense? The third reason you might want to have a trust is if you have someone in your life that has special needs, and you don't want the assets that you're going to give them to hinder or affect like the government benefits that they might be eligible to receive or that they might be receiving right now. Okay, you can do that with a special needs trust. It's just a sort of certain special type of revocable living trust that sort of works in just some additional language. But that is, again, another reason why you might want to do that. Those assets that are in the trust are typically not counted as part of the assets of the person that you're giving those assets to. So if they've qualified for some benefits of some kind, they retain those qualifications, they retain those benefits, and your assets that you've given them haven't sort of messed up their situation. Okay, so what are we on? We're on 3 so far. Another reason you might want to have a trust is if you have a blended family and you want to make sure that things are carved out for the kids of each family. For example, I'm from a blended family. I have a stepdad. He has 3 kids from a previous marriage. My mom has me and my sister from a previous marriage. As they are working through their estate planning, they're thinking, well, if one of them dies first, they want to make sure that some of the assets are carved out so that they can just ensure that all of the kids are getting whatever it is that they want. Does that make sense? The trust planning, the trust is really a way to do that. Another reason, that's number 4. Oh man, what's a 5th reason to have a trust? I'm blanking. I'm going to come up with something good. I mean, really, a 5th reason to have a revocable living trust is if you are subject to Washington state estate taxes and you're married. Using a revocable living trust can essentially double your tax exemption, saving you about $150,000 or so with just a little bit of upfront work. There's number 5. Woo, I made it. I wasn't sure if I was going to there for a second. But anyway, so there are 5 reasons why you might want to have a revocable living trust. A couple of reasons why you might not need a trust, even though you think you may need a trust. But if any of these sparked any questions or concerns or thoughts, feel free to reach out to me or to us. You can go to estatemeeting.com and set up a time to talk with us over the phone or in person for free. Estatemeeting.com. Once again, I'm Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning. We do probate. We do it well. Thank you for your time. And if you like this, by the way, hit the like button. If you know someone needs to hear this, please share it with them. If you have the ability to subscribe wherever you are, then subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. And thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. And I will talk to you again soon.